How you doing, folks? Papa Joe here. Trying to look something up here before I get too deep into this. There it is. It's a YouTube somebody sent me that I watched. It's Alex Jones. Ain't that his name? Infowars. Infowars.com. He's got an interview going with Pastor Steven Anderson. And it's quite interesting. Steven Anderson did a movie after the tribulation. And it's a big argument or debate or whatever terminology you want to use on when Christians are going to be taken into heaven. And as you have already drawn from some of my videos, I don't just take what the preachers and everybody tells us at face value and then I just believe it. I have known for a while that something ain't right. Thank you, Lord, for telling me something ain't right. And my quest has been to try to figure it out. Started out it was for me with this YouTube channel. I guess it's with y'all as well. Stuff just ain't been adding up. And I started watching this video. This old boy started putting a few of the numbers together for me, some of the dots together. And I do what I tell you to do. After listening to him, I broke out the Bible. And I went and looked up some of these passages. Now, Pastor Steven's got my respect simply because he does something that I tell y'all to do. He quoted a verse that people like to quote. And then he says, but they didn't read 2 verses before that. They just took this one verse and they twisted it to fit their agenda. And preachers and stuff are notorious about that. Now, I've never been a super big fan of Alex Jones. However, he does do some homework. And yes, I'm choosing my words. There are things that he says that are in line with stuff that I have found out or that I've been concerned about, that I'm researching and whatnot. One of them, you know, I'm worried about one world order, global denomination type thing. And that's real. I know. There's those of you who think I'm crazy. No, I don't have a tinfoil hat on. To accomplish one world order, they have to have one world religion. And over the course of a few years, they've been pushing it. They have been calling together a lot of the Christian denominations and leaders and all this stuff. And they went into that as well. Now, I liked the video, so that it should be, if you go onto the channel here and look at, what is it, history, I think, or something like that. There's some place where when I like something, it shows y'all what I liked. And you go onto there, it will show it to you. And you can watch the whole video yourself. But they're on the same page that I'm on. The with the concerned party. They have the resources and the knowledge and everything else to research it a lot better than I do. So, one of the main topics that they covered was the rapture. And I don't know when the rapture will be. I've heard it preached both ways. But the majority of them try to convince you that the rapture is supposed to be first. And Pastor Stevens does not agree with that. He says that all Christians are going to have to go through tribulations. And he quoted a couple of different verses that show that man has to be put to the test. I mean, that's all there is to it. He said that one of their favorite quotings here, which is in 1 Thessalonians 5, and it says, "Now, brothers, about times and dates we do not need to write to you, for you know very well that the day of the Lord will come like a thief in the night. While people are saying peace and safety, destruction will come on them suddenly, as labor pains on a pregnant woman, and they will not escape. But you, brothers, are not in the darkness, so that this day should surprise..." Let me pull this down some here. Working off the steering wheel, and it balances easy up there. "But you, brothers, are not in darkness, so that this day should surprise you like a thief. You are all sons of the light and sons of the day. We do not belong to the night or the darkness. So then let us not be like others who are asleep, but let us be alert and self-controlled. For those who sleep, sleep at night, and those who get drunk at night. But since we belong to the day, let us be self-controlled, putting on faith and love as breastplate, and the hope of salvation as a helmet. For God did not appoint us to suffer wrath, but to receive salvation through our Lord Jesus Christ. He died for us, so that whether we are awake or asleep, we may live together with him. Therefore encourage one another and build each other up, just as in fact you are doing." So what he's saying there is that those of us that are studying, that are walking with Jesus, that is reading the Word, that knows the Word, this is the Word. God has told us his plan. So us that are reading it and learning, we're not going to be asleep. We're not going to be in the dark. We are watching what is happening, so it shouldn't catch us by surprise. Now that is not saying that he's going to come in the dark. We know not the day and time, blah, blah, blah. If you're asleep, if you're not paying attention, then you know not the day and the time. The rest of us should be able to look what's happening and say, "Oh boy, if it ain't today, it ought to be tomorrow," but we sure are lined up for it. And yes, I know I've told you in past videos that I don't preach that everything matches today, because it always has, and it does, and it is. They're microchipping us. They're attacking God on all levels, all around the world. There's so much going on. Evil is being called good. Good is being called evil. There's so much going on. Now what we're being told here is if Jesus came tomorrow, you and I should not be surprised. We shouldn't be, "Wow, I didn't expect that." we should be knowing that with what's going on in the world, with what we're seeing, with those who have eyes, let him see. Those who have ears, let him hear. You're hearing and seeing what's going on. So, you gonna tell me everything's right in the world? You gonna tell me everything's pleasing in God's eyes? No. We all know it ain't. So if he came tomorrow, we shouldn't be in shock. Period. That's what I'm getting out of it. Hold on a second. Let's see. Okay. All right, now then. Matthew 24. And everyone likes to quote 36, verse 36. No one knows about that day or hour, not even the angels in heaven nor the Son, but only the Father. Now what he's saying is if you back up, and I don't remember exactly where he said to back up to. I'm going back up to 32. So 4 verses. Now, learn this lesson from the fig tree. As soon as its twigs get tender and its leaves come out, you know that summer is near. Even so, when you see all these things, you know that it is near, right at the door. I tell you the truth, this generation will certainly not pass away until all of these things have happened. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away. No one knows about that day or hour, not even the angels in heaven nor the Son, but only the Father. As it was in the days of Noah, so it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. For in the days before the flood, people were eating and drinking, marrying and getting in marriage, up to the day Noah entered the ark. And they knew nothing about what would happen until the flood came and took them all away. That is how it will be at the coming of the Son of Man. 2 men will be in the field, one will be taken and the other left. 2 women will be grinding with a handmill, one will be taken and the other left. Therefore keep your watch, because you do not know on what day your Lord will come. But understand this, if the owner of the house had known what time of night the thief was coming, he would have kept watch and would have let his house be broken into. Would not have let his house be broken into. So you also must be ready, because of the Son of Man will come at an hour when you do not expect him. You know, I should have backed up a little bit more, and I think I'm going to. I should have backed up to 26. So if anyone tells you there he is out in the desert, do not go out. Or here he is in the inner rooms, do not believe it. For as lightning that comes from the east is visible even in the west, so will be the coming of the Son of Man. Where there is a carcass, there the vultures will gather. Immediately after the distress of those days, the sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light. The stars will fall from the sky, and the heavenly bodies will be shaken. At that time, the sign of the Son of Man will appear in the sky, and all the nations of the earth will mourn. They will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of the sky with power and great glory. And he will send his angels with a loud trumpet call, And they will gather his elect from the four winds, from one end of the heavens to the other. Then we go into what I'd read earlier. Now learn this from the fig tree. So, I tell you what, you need to go read Matthew 24. I might have to read that one next and do a little bit more in depth on it. What I'm getting out of this is, and I put it together with a lot of stuff that's in my life. We have to go through trials and tribulations. All through the Bible they have. There was no one that we've read about in the Bible that was a closet Christian. No one. Everybody received. Everybody went out and shared. Everybody had to pay trials and tribulations or go through trials and tribulations. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Some things ain't going to change. So, what I'm gathering, like I said, I'm going to have to read up on it some more. What I'm gathering from the readings that I've done and from the video that I watched, which made a lot of sense, is that we need to be sowing them seeds. We need to be working for God. We need to be working for Jesus. We need to be doing what He has told us to do. If you stay on top of your game, if you're doing what you've been instructed to do, or what we've been instructed to do, and you stay in your walk, stay in the faith, keep the faith, we're going to have it getting harder on us, just like it's getting harder on the Christians in the East. It's still going to get harder on us over here. And you have to stay in the walk. I'll go out on a limb. Don't quote me on any of this, because this is just my thoughts right now. But I'll go out on a limb to say that what I'm thinking that I'm hearing and learning, which is subject to change, when he said he's going to go gather his elect, I think he's going to go gather those that have been staying in the Word and working. Those that are doing their best to keep His commandments, His orders. Love one another, spread the word, take it all corners of the earth. I think those are the elect. Ain't nothing that I got to back that up and prove that it's so. And I think Earth here is going to get a lot worse, and it's going to get a lot worse on the Christians. And if we're keeping the faith, we'll be part of that elect. And then comes the tribulations and a whole bunch of worse stuff. So, or I should say more tribulations. It's really kind of complicated and hard on an old hillbilly to know some of this stuff. The best that I've got is that I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm going to keep spreading the word best that I can. I am going to call out false doctrine as I see it. I'm going to argue with the powers to be about religion, about taking it out of the school, the lives, and everything else. I am going to do the best that I can do to be a warrior for Jesus Christ. And whether that accomplishes anything or not, I do not know. I know that I have told the good Lord numerous times that I have made a total mess out of my life and that I want Him to use me for His gain. And this is where I felt I've been led. So this is what I will do. And I've got my eyes wide open. Have you? Do you really? Are you watching the world? Are you watching our government and the world? You really should be. Well, that's all I got. I know I probably raised more questions than I answered. Don't know that I answered any. I've got 2 studies going on right now. Book of Revelations, the Book of Acts, and now I'm wanting to read up in Matthew. I want to read up in Matthew. I want to read that whole book a little bit. See what else good Lord can give me out of it. That's it. I hope you're on top of your game. I hope you're awake. Don't get caught sleeping. Good Lord's got a parable in there about folks sleeping when the owner came home, remember? Alright, remember, God loves you and so do I. Our world needs Him. He's counting on us to help spread His word. Y'all have a good evening.